Well, another podcast, boys. We made it to episode 2.
Great.
Welcome. You can talk. It's a podcast.
That's good. That's a good one.
We didn't want to interrupt you in full flow, Ashley.
Yeah, thanks, mate. Cheers. So, once again, hi, everyone. Welcome to the Straight Talking Property Podcast with myself, Jimmy London, and Emmanuel Ezekiel. Today, we're going to be talking all about cash flow from property. And we've got a few questions that we've had sent in to us in relation to, what do we do after property cash flow? So we'll be answering some of those questions as well that we've got. I think we've got 2 or 3, is that right? Yeah, good.
Email.
Good stuff. And we've got another guest in here that we'll introduce as we go down the track. We'll start off by talking about cash flow, and we're going to talk about HMOs today, house in multiple occupation, which is Jimmy's sort of field of expertise, if you like. Mm-hmm. We'll also talk about buy-to-lets and microflats, which is more Emmanuel's sort of expertise, and I'll cover the service accommodation. And Jimmy will be talking with Jack as well, our special guest today.
Hello.
Hello, mate. And Jimmy's got a bit of an experience he's gone through today, so we want to share that because there are some good and very good things with HMO, and he's going to share one of the good things today. And it's actually a good win that he's had. So, cash flow. What do we need cash flow for, boys?
Well, cash flow is all about giving you income on a regular and consistent basis. So, for me, it's getting cash flowing into your bank account each week, each month, on a continuous basis. So, for me, that's cash flowing.
Good. Jimmy?
Money flowing.
Well, of course, yeah. We've got to pay bills, haven't we?
And when you actually go to sleep, you wake up and your bank account's topped up, which is even better because rents are just constantly going in. So, yeah, cash flow to me is, it's great, really. It gives me time to do what I want when I want and invest now in bigger projects. Cash flow for me, I've built up a nice cash flow over the last 5 years. So,
where are you off to on Saturday?
Off to Florida.
How long for?
A month.
Cash flow's king, eh?
Cash flow is king, yeah.
Are we going to be playing golf?
Fairgrass. So,
are we allowed to say that? Does your missus know yet?
Fairgrass,
does she know yet, your missus?
Shows you how much of a good golfer I am, innit? They say I'm a bandit, but 18's good. 18's enough. I'm not dropping any more.
So Jimmy's off for a month. So basically, next week and the week after, it'll be myself and Emmanuel. Thanks, mate.
Just the two of you.
Well done with the cash flow.
Just the two of you.
Yeah. And for me, it's what cash flow's done for me is it gives you that freedom that you don't have to worry about bills and just those day-to-day stuff. And I think, Emmanuel, you said last time, most people need, $3,000 a month?
It's actually
to be financially free?
It's £2,000 to £3,000 a month in disposable income to cover the basic living expenses, whether it be a rent, a mortgage, the normal basic utilities, food, and some really basic stuff. £2,000 to £3,000 for most people. They're completely financially free at that point. They're not wealthy, but they're certainly financially free. So, that's a very achievable sum of money in a short period of time. And when I mean short, it's anywhere between 6 and 18 months, depending how hard
active
these people are, you're going to put into it.
Yeah, I agree, and it is all about time and energy because we have people that come to us all the time, and the magic figure seems to be $10,000 a month, right? That seems to be the number.
That was my figure, I think, when I started.
No, yours, I think, was about 40 grand. I remember you saying to me 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
I went round the room and Jimmy goes 40,000. I'm like, okay, we've got one here. Good, yeah. But now you're there.
I've done it.
Yeah, and working probably 2/3 of the year.
Yeah.
So. Good.
So, for most people, that's really unrealistic figure. They set a figure way too high, way too quickly, rather than say, how do you eat an elephant? One bite at a time.
That's it.
To get 10,000, you've got to get your first 500. Then to your 1,000, you build it up slowly. They tend to put such a high figure before they start, and that's actually something that demotivates them as opposed to motivates them.
You've got to break it down, haven't you, into smaller goals. So, like a quarter of your biggest goal, and that's what I'm trying to do anyway. Just break it down.
Yeah, and I think we mentioned it last week. People are going for the end result without thinking about how much work it's going to take. Because when you said 40 grand, I'm like, okay, it's going to take a bit of work. Is he up for it? And as it turns out, you're a bit of a workaholic when it comes to that. Also a golfaholic now.
Yeah. Fatheraholic at the moment as well.
So cash flow is important. Cash flow for me has financed all of my other businesses. It's financed the pub, it's financed the hotel, it's financed 2 nurseries, financed a whole load of stuff, and it finances your lifestyle as well. You know, Emmanuel's got his Ferraris and stuff, and I've got my Land Rover Defender. Probably better, would we agree?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a rally burner. And a Diamondback.
I do have a smart car too.
Yeah, we won't see photos of that though. You do look cute in that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll take that.
On your social media.
You just can't get anyone else in it over 6 foot tall. So yeah, cash flow. So Jimmy, let's start with you. No, sorry, Emmanuel. We'll start with you, and we'll probably talk about your buy-to-lets and talk about HMOs, but more so about the microflats, which most people out there, especially those coming into the industry or coming into property, probably haven't heard of and wouldn't have a clue what a microflat is.
Okay, well, if I start with how I started, which is a standard buy-to-let property where you actually buy a property, you get a mortgage on it and you rent it out. And typically, even today, the cash flow, the surplus between the mortgage that you pay and the rent that you receive is only about £200 to £300. So it doesn't give you a huge amount of money. So you have to have quite a lot of those. So if you want to have, a £2,000 to £3,000 a month cash flow, you're going to have around about 10 properties to actually do that.
As long as it's not in your name, because Section 24 has smashed that.
Yeah, so we'll cover Section 24 a different time. But, seriously speaking, 10 properties, £200 to £300 a month, that's £3,000 a month cash flow. But in reality, if you're looking at the average property between £150,000 to £200,000, that means you've got to have about £2 million worth of investment, and a 25% deposit is £500,000. For most people, that's not achievable. So as a standard traditional buy-to-let investor, you're going to run out of money very quickly. So you have to look at ways, how do I increase my income? How do I increase my cash flow to get the maximum out of each and every investment I have? So it's called sweating the investment. So that's standard buy-to-let. So over the last few years, I've been looking at my portfolio. I've been looking at other commercial buildings or residential buildings of how do I maximise that income. So we were going to talk very shortly about HMOs. So this is basically a hybrid of a HMO. So you take a property and you subdivide it into the smaller sizes that you can, that's still livable, that's still usable, that somebody can actually have and maximise the income by actually putting in ensuite or a kitchen facility to make it easy for somebody and actually increase the income dramatically. So I'll talk about one of the units that we bought in Hendon not so long ago. It was a commercial on the ground floor. It was residential above. So the ground floor was Domino's Pizzas and still is. We were getting an income on that for $27,000, and it's gone up slightly over the last couple of years. But more importantly, the offices above were getting an income of $12,500 per annum. So if you look at the total income combined, it was around about $39,000, $40,000 worth of income. However, what we did is we actually subdivided the top floors into 6 units and with a communal kitchen, which we had to do to comply with regulations. We had to make 1 or 2 adjustments during it. But that is actually now producing $6,000 income per month, which is $72,000 on its own.
Wow.
Including Domino's, which is another $29,000. So just $99,000 compared to $39,000. So just looking at an investment slightly differently. There are obviously a few steps that you need to use. I obviously engage great professionals that allow me to do that, but that's the basic principle. You take something that you might have looked at maybe changing it into flats, which you could do. It was offices above residential, or a standard HMO. I actually converted it into something that would actually increase the income quite dramatically, able to do the work, refinance it, pull all the money out, so I got all my money, plus a really healthy cash flow. So that's what's called a micro studio.
So let's just go back there for a bit. At the end there, you said you pulled out all of your money and you've increased your cash flow by 60 grand a year. So did you fund the money going in, or did someone else fund that?
No, I
Just trying to help people who don't really have enough money to do that.
I'm in a slightly different position than a lot of people now, because I've been in property sort of 20 years. So if I see an investment that I really like, I'll either buy with my own funding or I'll buy it with either development or bridging finance. So in this particular case, we actually bought it with bridging finance, and we put a very small amount of money in with an investor. So we actually bought this investment for 806,000. We spent, including all the work and legals, taking up to about £1 million, so 200 or 1,000. And it was recently valued at 1.65 million. We were able to refinance it. We have a debt on it currently at 1.2 million, which shows that we've pulled out £200,000. So it was a nice investment, and still proves to be so.
And these are quite simple to do as long as you have the right education, you have the right... But you said you've got some really good professionals around you. What would they include, like architects and...
Yeah, so for me, I have a great architect. I have a really good planning consultant. Part of my team is my finance team, because you need to know that you can get the finances quickly. And I have really good agents or brokers that bring me projects together. So that's the main part of the team, as well as having a good accountant. And contractors. They all make up part of the mix. You've got to have each one of those. It's a domino effect. Now, once you find the property, you've got to finance it. If you before you finance it, you want to make sure you can get what you want on the scheme. So each one has a domino effect to get what you want. And these projects are really very easy to do once you have them. You can turn it around, which we did in 4 months.
Wow.
And start producing income very quickly. And we refinance within 6 months. So the amount of money you're holding into it is very, very small. And more importantly now, which I'm going to talk about later, there's an even more creative way of actually doing it and acquiring it without using any of your money. So I thought I'd leave that to a bit later.
Let's do that. Sounds good. I'm interested. Are you interested?
Yeah.
Jack's like, I'm glad I'm here, man.
No money. All right, someone.
Yeah, no money.
Down. Talk to me.
Okay, so...
Well, it's not no money down. It's not any of your money. This is really important.
Yeah,
People
exactly.
talk about this all the time.
That's true. Yeah.
And they make it seem that it's really simple, that you don't need any money.
You do.
You don't need any of your money.
Yeah,
you just need to know how you can access that money.
Yeah.
So hopefully, well, not hopefully, we're definitely going to show people how to do that. But take away this fallacy that you don't need money, because you do need money.
When agents, I speak to new agents and that when I'd be out with students, and they say, "Oh, how many property courses have you been on? Is it no money down?" And I was like, you know, because there's so many people out there teaching, "Oh, you don't need any money." You do need money in anything. Yeah. You know, everything that you set up, you need some money. It's simple.
Especially when the solicitor sends you an email, "Where's my money?"
Yeah. So,
right on that, Jimmy's in talking mode. Let's go over to Jimmy. Let's talk about your HMOs. You're in a great area. We won't give the areas away because we don't want everyone flocking down to the agents in, you know, sort of saying that they're Jimmy London or anything like that. You know,
I reckon I could put it off.
You probably could. Do you know? Probably could. Yeah.
Do you know what now, mate? Do you know what now as well? Like the area that I'm in, I've built up a relationship with these agents for the last 5 years. Now, they've had so many company lets and people go into it, and they've had their fingers burnt with a few of them. So I'm quite lucky and blessed that I got into rent to rent back in 2015. Yes, it is getting harder out there, but it's all about the networking, the people you got around you, and you know. But I think I said to Jack, like, has any mate just put something on Facebook? Let's see who you got around you. Use your network of people, because you might have 5 or 6 estate agents that is you know, on your social media that you think straight away that barrier's down.
That's it.
Let's go out for a drink, cocktail. This, you know. So
same in anything, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know, if you like someone, you're going to do business with them.
That's
More
it.
importantly, our business is all about relationships.
Yeah, 100%.
It really is, and especially with estate agents, they're the people that really look after you. You know, most of the business you're going to get is from estate agents or from an agent of some sort.
Yeah.
So
People buy from people.
it's all about relationships.
Yeah, and I've noticed that when I've been in just to pop in and see in the area that I'm at, a company called Acorn. Don't know if you've heard of him.
I have.
Huge
Yep.
company. I know the manager in my local branch, and when I sat in there, she printed some stuff off for me because I've got a property 2 seconds around the corner, and I, like an idiot, forgot an AST. But I went there, had a cup of tea, and when I sat in there was this company that come in, totally a bit aggressive, totally rot, and you can see just from. I know he wouldn't have got one contact through the high street, you know, and it's just too aggressive and too so people like doing business with people that's on the same level.
You know what they say about small acorns?
Small squirrels.
Ekahona.
So, Jimmy, HMOs. What's going on in the HMO world now then?
So,
You mentioned a bit about agents, getting a little bit harder.
well, I'll tell you about my day-to-day.
Maybe it's getting a bit more professional now.
It is, yeah. I mean, the market out there from when I first started, the basic rooms were very budget furniture. It's now the next level up because HMO, what I teach, rent-to-rent HMO, is something that you don't need a massive investment to get started. You know, you can get started from, say, they say £3,000. Yeah, up north, not down here. It's 7 to 10k at least is what you need setup cost. So most people can get together between two friends 7 to 10k. You know, with savings or taking out small loan or credit cards. So the HMO rent-to-rent market has got bigger, but the competition out there now, you've got to be tip-top. It's got to be serviced accommodation level. That's what I've noticed massively in the last 2 years, 2 years. Because when I first started out, my rooms were nice, don't get me wrong. But when I look at Ashley, my viewings girl, and she say, "Oh, have you seen this one? This one's just popped up." And I go, "That's the nuts. That's 10 times better than ours. So we need to,
But don't you think that's great?
Yeah, it's great.
Competition,
absolutely.
making the accommodation far better. And the end person is benefiting.
Yeah,
from
the
it.
tenants.
100%.
All that you're doing is just raising the bar, raising the standard. And there's a lot of these PRS schemes, people building for private rental schemes that are actually increasing that, adding additional facilities to their property. So it's increasing the standard. So the professional landlords, which you guys are, I think.
Yeah.
Cheers, mate.
It really is raising the bar and it's making the accommodation far better for people.
100%. So, I mean, like today, I've had a bit of a mad day today. Over the last 5 years, I've probably had over 1,500, maybe 2,000 tenants through my books. So that's a hell of a lot of tenants.
Yeah.
Not everything is rosy, but today we had a bit of a positive vibe. We was in court today with one of my tenants, the first one I've actually ever taken to court. He didn't vacate the property. He's been given 14 days to get out the property. So it was
The court, is that court order?
The court order's given him 14 days to that as of today. So from the 13th of February, I can then check that hopefully, fingers crossed, he's gone, and then we don't have to act on the bailiff side of things to get him removed. But today's been a good day and a good experience as well.
It's pretty good numbers.
For the amount of tenants I've had, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
So
I think that shows testimony of what you are like as a landlord.
Yeah.
As opposed to just the tenant. It shows that you're pretty good. You're actually a really good landlord
and
to have that kind of ratio that you look after your properties, you look after your tenants, and they want to pay and they want to stay.
Well, today, after that, I had to go and visit another property of mine where we're spending a bit of money. We're refurbing it all because he's getting a little bit tired. And I see one of the tenants in there, and he's moving out with his wife. They want to start a family. And I said, look, I'm because he's due to move out on the 10th of February. I'm not here. I said, Daniel, thanks for being a great tenant. And he shook me hand and he said, do you know what, Jimmy? He said, you've been my best landlord. And I was like, look.
Well done, mate.
It was nice because for him to say
That's good, especially with all the bad press about HMOs and landlords and dodgy people.
And I've tried to help him out with a couple of 2-beds because he wanted a 2-bed place, but I think that was a little bit out of his price range. But he's found somewhere now, and just to go there and said, look, Daniel, thanks for being a great tenant, and shook his hand, and he said, I've been a great landlord, and that's quite a buzz, you think,
absolutely.
So a good day today.
Good, well done, mate. Well done.
Cheers.
Cheers. Now, introduce your little mate here, will you?
So we've got Mr. Jack Brown.
Hello.
Jack, how are we doing?
Good, thanks, mate. Good to be here.
Good. So Jack is a student of mine that I started to work with you 12 months ago.
It was, 12 months ago.
Funny enough, we posted.
It was literally our anniversary the other day.
I reposted the picture because it popped up on Facebook a year ago.
That year has disappeared, mate.
Yeah, and
yeah.
I didn't get me flowers, man. I didn't get me flowers.
In the post.
So
cup of tea in the ivy.
Coming up to Valentine's Day, mate.
Well, he's free on the 14th because the 13th is all finishes.
There you go. So we had a good day out. You was absolutely hitting it, weren't
Yeah.
they?
Oh, mate. Yeah.
Going into the agents, but we got through.
Yeah.
We got through some.
was it.
We viewed a couple of properties, but they fell through, didn't they? You know,
Yeah.
and unfortunately that does happen.
That's it. Yeah. Before I got my first deal, I had 2 offers accepted that then fell through for various reasons. Like, it does happen. But it's a persistence game, really.
Yeah,
I would say.
and this is the
You
rent
just-
to rent stuff. You
Yeah,
weren't
that's
buying them,
it, yeah.
we was renting them and then turning them in,
Yeah,
obviously,
exactly that.
to
So-
HMOs. And then let's tell us about this one that you got come
Yeah.
through is a lovely, huge Victorian property, wasn't it? That's
Yeah,
been split
absolutely.
up.
So first one I took on was the third flat. So it was flat number 3 on the top floor,
Yep.
which was for 4 people. And then off the back of that, we got offered the bottom floor, and that's now full. So we've now got 10 tenants in total across the 2 flats. And then I've just been offered the last flat as well.
So the whole building.
Yeah, so now basically controlling the whole block of flats.
Yeah.
Are you just miserable when you secure them as well?
Absolutely, yeah.
Hey, who needs friends like that, eh? Thank you, Mr. Ezekiel, eh? Hey, he's nervous as packing it.
He's
No,
a
he's
DJ, you're a
No,
DJ
to be
as
fair,
well.
it's good. It is good, mate.
Hang on a minute, is he smashing it? It's all about profits.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's it going to be after
Yeah.
the third one's open?
So when the third one's up and running, that should cash for about $3,250 per month.
Just say that again.
Say
That'd be
it in
3,000.
thousands.
Yeah, £3,250
How
a
long's
month.
that taken you?
So that has been a year. The hardest bit was getting the landlords on board at first. But once you get going, that's you're just off, and it just starts coming towards you. That's what Jimmy said the whole time.
That's
So,
amazing.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Cheers, guys.
just going back to what I said, the average person, 2,000 to 3,000, 6 to 18 months. He's
Yeah.
right in the middle,
Yeah.
smashing it after 12 months. So that's amazing.
Yeah.
No,
he's done.
and it's obviously I've got a 3-year let on those, but I've got a really good relationship with the landlord now. I've got really good rapport. He's actually based out in Spain, so for him, he just wants something hands off. I've almost become his property manager,
Huh.
So any problems,
Good.
I just get it sorted out.
and
with him.
the
Trusted too, obviously.
Yeah, that's it.
He wants that. He wants that real hands-off passive
That's
income
it,
because he's living
yeah.
in Spain, and you're delivering that
That's
for him.
it. And once again, it comes down to that relationship. I've not actually met the guy, but we've got really good relationship on the phone, and it's all
Met his
going really
daughter
well.
now, haven't you?
Yeah, she's lovely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry, Alex.
But it's an amazing
Yeah.
looking property. When I first saw the
Yeah.
photos, I thought it was an SA.
Yeah. No, that's
The ceilings are so high. You get
Just-
a
yeah.
20-foot Christmas tree up, I think, on the
Just
ground.
wanted
one,
it to
can't you?
be the best rooms. Like when you go on, spare room, you just want it to be the best room
And they
that's
are.
on that page.
They're great.
And
They're
yeah, and
great.
they filled up really quick. So
Well, there you go. They filled up really quick, and that's the key.
that's it, mate.
But again, you're learning from Jimmy. You're being
That's
a good
it.
landlord.
Yeah.
You're doing the right thing.
Can I add something to that? I think a lot
No,
of
but I'm
people
sure
might
you
be.
will.
Seriously, I think a lot of people might be asking, why would a landlord
Yeah.
want to give
True.
someone else
It's what
their
everyone says.
property
Yeah.
to benefit from it?
Oh.
And you've more or less summed it up. Tenant is away, might not want to do it, might have another job.
Yeah.
A lot of landlords are, 1 or 2 property landlords. They don't want the hassle, they don't want the aggravation, and they're very happy for somebody else to look after their investment, give them a guaranteed return
Yeah.
with no voids, do
That's
the
it.
small amount of repairs, and give them their monthly cash flow. So it's a win-win scenario. So
Yep.
Yeah.
there are going to be a lot of people out there saying, why would a landlord do that?
Yeah, yeah.
I actually, with that deal,
It's win-win. It's got to be a win-win.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, I managed to negotiate on that deal with him that actually any maintenance or repairs he actually pays for, I just organise it for him. So that was just another way of
Yeah, it's
saving
great.
a bit
But
more money.
what
on
you've
the
got
deal.
as well from this, you've now
Yeah.
got a serious stepping stone to say to other agents,
Absolutely.
this is how I took the property on.
Exactly.
This is what I've done to
Got
it.
loads of befores and,
I'm-
afters.
Oh,
photos.
credibility.
well,
That's it.
I remember you sending them through on the WhatsApp among other videos.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
but some of those images were fantastic, mate. Absolutely great.
Cheers,
So
mate. And that's another thing. Just pay someone £50 to get you really nice photos.
yeah,
Makes all the difference. We live in that Instagram world now. People just see a really nice bedroom pop up on spare room.
Yeah.
And they're straight on it.
What's
Yeah.
the first things they look at is the photos. Same as.
And you see all the
Look
other
up booking
anything,
.com or whatever.
yeah.
Three people
a
spare
hotel, a
room.
car, whatever it might be.
Yeah.
If it's the best picture
That's
on
it.
there,
They're going to be
that's the
drawn
one you
to
click
it.
on.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, well done, mate. You've
Cheers,
done great.
mate. No, I appreciate all your support, mate. You are, always there. So,
Well done, boys.
Well done.
So, service accommodation. Let me cover that. Service accommodation is something that's kind of taken off, I guess, in the last 3 to 4 years. And especially in the last sort of 12 months. And we know that from the amount of people asking us, can you mentor us? Can we come to your course? When's your course? And we get probably half a dozen or more calls a day on that. So it's rapidly happening. But however, it's also evolved in that 3 years, if you like the HMO stuff is.
Yeah.
So you're at SA level, but you're at SA level where SA was a year and a half ago. Now, I know there's different levels for service accommodation. You've got your blue-collar contractors, but you've still got to give the wow factor for the blue-collar contractors. Now, that won't be fluffy cushions and nice, 200 knit cotton or whatever it is. It might be a couple of beers in the fridge. And what the contractors want, mostly after they've been working hard all day, come home, watch a movie, watch some sports. So you've got to give those channels. And the comfiest bed possible.
Yeah.
The wow factor to them is a comfortable bed and obviously location to where they're working and that type of thing. And then you build up to the luxury sort of high-end stuff. We've got Vincenzo and Claudia who have got properties in, the West End of London. And these places, when we show people the photos, they're like, wow, I want to live there.
Yeah, they're unreal.
So if you get that from people that don't know about it, wow, I want to live there.
Yeah.
And they say, what is it? So, well, it's actually a service accommodation. And I'm like, wow, how can I stay there?
So, Ash, service accommodation might be underplaying it. What it is, it's the quality of a hotel.
Well, yeah, and beyond.
And beyond for a fraction of the actual price. So you actually get a whole house or a whole flat for a fraction of the price of the hotel, but the same kind of standard, if not above. So So, when you say service accommodation, some people might think service offices. It's not quite the same. It's really high-end luxury, and they're getting so much more for their buck.
And they are, depending on the area, yeah. So those guys I'm talking about in the West End, I mean, their places look better than some of these £400-500 a night hotels. The Ritz is all downtrodden, needs a good refurb now. And these places, they did like 54 grand just in April last year. That's huge.
Great,
over 4 properties.
Wow.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That's massive income. Do they work hard for it? Absolutely. And they've got a real eye for interior design. It's got such an eye for interior design. At first I thought they were interior designers. And I kept saying they're interior designers, but they're not. Their day job, etc. So, they work hard, and it is hard work as well. But the industry, again, is changing, and it's global. It's happening all over the place. Like Marriott hotels are now building purpose-built service accommodation apart hotels.
Yeah.
They're moving away from that traditional model of checking in, having your breakfast there.
Well, the hotel industry has dropped because of service accommodation.
And it's amazing. And people say, is it saturated? Well, we still keep getting bookings. Even now we're getting with the coronavirus going on. We're still getting in Cambridge. You get lots of Chinese visitors, and they come back either for sort of nostalgic trips to see where they studied in Cambridge. Same in Oxford, and obviously you've got all the historical centres as well. So there's a key. There is a key sort of, we call it a core, central operations, realty and experience. And there's a whole process that we go through, and not just the property, but it could be the street, could be the building it's in, where it's near, 5-minute rule, 10-minute rule, 2-minute rule, 1 bed, 2 bed, 3 bed, and all of those sort of things, which we don't have time to cover today. Podcast coming up, Emmanuel and I are going to be talking about regulations for HMOs, serviced accommodations and other landlords and agents that we've got that we're going to share with you that we can't quite share at the moment. But it's going to be game-changing stuff, and you need to be at the forefront and know this. Otherwise, you're going to get left behind, and you're going to be non-compliant, I guess. So anyway, that's good. I know we're short for time. We could sit here and talk all day. We've got some questions. We've got time for questions, Chris?
Yep, email.
Okay, good. I got it. It's coming. Here we are. Emmanuel, let's start with you. Here we go. Oh, no. So, for those who don't know, Emmanuel has appeared on... What show was that on Channel 5, Emmanuel?
It's actually Rich House, Poor House.
Rich House, Poor House. Right. Well done. Yeah, I think everyone's seen it, haven't they? It's number 1 on Netflix, I think. Yeah.
Not quite.
So, hi, this is from Jane from Lincolnshire. Hi, Emmanuel. First of all, loved your Channel 5 appearance and the jackets. I put that.
I'm sure she didn't say that.
It was really inspirational. My question is, after property, where else do you invest for diversity?
That's a great question, Jane, and I'm going to try and be generic because I've been investing for quite some time, so the answer I might give for myself would be very different to somebody else. So I'll talk about specifically the things that I do in addition to property. So one of them is I maximise my pension contributions, and I do that into a SAS, and a SAS is a self-administered savings scheme that allows me to invest money how I want to. But more importantly, if you're a basic rate taxpayer or a high rate taxpayer, you get an immediate benefit of either 20 or 40% by the government. So on day one, if I put in £10,000, I'm going to get that to either £12,000 or £14,000. So that's guaranteed. And that's before that pension is actually getting any return. So, and the reason why I put my money into one of those schemes is that it allows me to then use that money for other commercial enterprises. So hypothetically, on day one, I put in £10,000. If I'm a high rate taxpayer, I get an immediate enhancement of £4,000. That takes £10,000 to £14,000. And if I get a return even as small as 10% by doing a commercial transaction, that's going to increase it just that year to £15,400. So that's a pretty significant return. If you're a basic rate taxpayer, again, that's going to take it from $10,000 to $12,000 plus the 10%, another $1,200, that's $13,200. That's pretty significant return. So that's one of the things I do. Some of the other things I do, again, through my SAS or similar, is I actually invest with other people and do commercial lending. And that commercial lending could be against an asset. An asset could be a car, it could be a watch, it could be many other things, and again, get a commercial return. So those are just a couple of things that I put my money into. There's lots of other things as well. But if you don't have lots of money, the ones I talked about previously last time, one is the government-backed scheme for people who are on any kind of benefit whatsoever. For every £1 you put in, the government puts in another 50p. That's a 50% return guaranteed. So the other one is that people that are saving for a home, there's another guaranteed scheme by the government. It's an ISA, lifetime ISA, and the government will put in another 25%. So every £1,000 you put in, they put another 250. That's guaranteed. It's very difficult to get those returns without any risk anywhere else. So there's just a couple of things. Then you've got things like if you've got children, you've got a children's savings scheme that give you guaranteed rates, which is 4.5% minimum. And then you have other ISA schemes and other things that you can, in terms of guaranteed returns. So again, it's risk-reward ratio profile. So it's that's a generic kind of answer, and I hope that helps.
Brilliant. Great stuff. Thank you. There's some stuff there I didn't know about.
Yeah, no. It's very
the children's funds and that type of stuff.
That's why you call me in.
Yeah.
That's why I call you some things. And Jimmy, hi, this is James from Shropshire. Hi, Jimmy. I've been going around the houses trying to find the best deals for kitting out my newly acquired HMOs. Am I best sticking to main outlets like Juice, B&Q, etc., or go through NLA for discounts, or pick and choose from all? Well, yeah, somebody quite confused there, but Jimmy?
Yeah, hi James, thanks for the question. Now, when I first started, I was a bit of an IKEA man, so I'd go out, buy all my flat pack stuff, purely for the fact I wanted to see how much furniture I needed in rooms, and sort of what price I was spending per room on the flat pack stuff, rather than getting stuff already made and delivered, because it was working out more expensive. So IKEA was a great one. B&M Bargains, which is quite good for sort of pictures and bedding and pillars and stuff like that, is great. Depending on your time, if you've not got loads of time, then Fusion packages. Now, they also do finance as well, which is quite handy if you're starting out and you've not got that big investment at the start. Fusion do a finance package, because if you've taken a house on, you've got 8 bedrooms to kit out. Each bedroom, you're looking at about £400 to £450. That works out quite a lot of money. Now, depending on how you're funding these, I would recommend at the start doing it yourself, going out, buying a flat pack, seeing the work that's involved and getting a feel for it. The best person at anything is someone that's worked their way up from the top. So become the handyman at the start, understand what goes into putting these bedrooms together, and then going from there. But also another website is Shpock. Spock. Who's heard of Spock? Now, I've done a...
Bring me up, Scotty.
Beam me up, Scotty. Spock is a boot sale app. Now, you can get some really, really good things on here that are very local to where your HMO might be. I was doing a refurb once and I got a chair for £5. Now, this is a single armchair that looked great with a throw over it and a scattered cushion. Cost me £5, but in the pictures it looked fantastic, and it was literally the road behind where I was doing it. So Spock is another Spock.
It's an app as well, isn't it? An app?
Yeah, it's an app. Hopefully that's helped you out, answered some questions there, and thanks for sending that one in.
All right, thanks, Jimmy. Myself, Ash has got a couple here. Sorry, boys. What have you found to be the best overall channel manager? Is the first question. Well, we use two. So we use Tokete, T-O-K-E-E-T, for like the single apartments and that type of stuff. But for the hotel, we're using Evivo. E-V-I-I-V-O?
E-V-I-I.
V-O, yeah. And we've found that that's more suitable to that.
Yeah,
especially for direct bookings.
Yep.
Yeah, so hopefully the answer. There's many more out there, and they've all got their glitches, but that's software. Second question, would you recommend third-party cleaning company on service accommodation or find your own and build from there? Many thanks, Robert from Brighton. So third-party cleaners, I think what you mean there is get somebody in like a company or something like that instead of having your own. If you're starting out with one or two, there's no real point, I think, with starting your own cleaning company. However, if you're going to scale up, then it's worth doing that, because then you can also service other service accommodation operators around the area. However, one tip is when you're looking for a cleaner, make sure you get some good referrals, and make sure that they're all reference checked, because you don't want people coming into the property that you don't know, and one day you find your property's been cleaned out.
Just butting there, Ash, sorry. So with cleaners as well, that I noticed when I first started, tenants were sat, I'd pay them for an hour and a half. They'd go in there, tenants would grass the cleaners up, basically. She was only in 20 minutes, so the Ring doorbell thing's quite good for seeing when people come and go on cleaners, definitely. So,
so we have them on all our properties like you do, with cleaning, you can do that later on, set up your own company. But for now, I would suggest using a company or paying contractors. You don't want to employ anyone. Good. Hopefully that helps. Right, now, we're coming to the end, boys.
Already?
Yes, I know. It flies by.
Wow.
So, thank you again. It's been good.
Yeah, thanks, Ash. And
Jimmy, enjoy your holiday.
Jack, well done for coming down, mate.
Jack,
Thanks for coming down, mate.
Yes,
So,
had about 3 toilet breaks before you came in,
Yeah.
along with Emmanuel. For different reasons.
I'm off for a month. Are you boys going to be all right on the next one on your own?
Yeah, well, it will just be me and Emmanuel, I think. So, you never know.
We'll try not to kill each other.
Yeah. We love each other. So good. So what's next? So, like I said, we're going to be talking about some regulations and stuff that's coming up that you're going to need to get compliant with. If you're not, it's going to make it very hard for you, and you may need to step up your game there. Emmanuel, I think we're also going to be talking what's super, super important to be able to be consistent, to be able to, like Jack, you said yourself, we're going to talk a lot about mindset. Now, I know that there are people out there, mindset it out. And those people saying it don't have the mindset that it takes to be successful, consistent, those daily habits and that type of stuff. And Emmanuel, a lot of people won't know, is a master in NLP. Is that right? Are they the right words?
I'm a master practitioner in NLP, which stands for Neuro Linguistic Programming. You probably heard of Tony Robbins. He made it famous.
Yeah.
But it was actually created by Richard Bandler. It's a science of how we think, how we act, how we do, how we take on information, and how we keep ourselves motivated, how we get ourselves inspired. It's the way that we talk to ourselves on a regular basis, not just the voice I'm talking about now. It's that internal voice that you're actually interpreting everything that I'm saying. Do I like it? Do I like him? Can I use that information? So it's talking about how you use that information to constantly motivate you and inspire you. And we can talk about that, and we will talk about that in more detail.
And I know we have a laugh, but we love you. You're the best. You're great at mindset. Right, so let's close this out. We've got an email for those who don't know, and it is ask us at straighttalkingproperty.com. One more time, ask us at straighttalkingproperty.com. Send in those questions. We'll get as many as we can out there. Also, don't forget, we're at Wealth and Success Academy on Facebook, wealthandsuccessacademy.com webpage, Wealth Success Academy on Instagram, and just search Wealth and Success Academy on YouTube for those videos. And again, this will be up there as well. So, boys, thank you and goodbye.
See you
Thanks.
later.
Take care.
Cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thank you.